All right, today we're diving into something pretty amazing called Oxygenated Cultivated Gardening, or OCG for short. And what it does is, well, it's a system designed to do something truly remarkable. Turn the stuff you throw away into the food you eat.
I mean, just picture your kitchen trash can for a second. What if all of that stuff, the apple cores, the coffee grounds, those veggie peelings, what if none of it was actually garbage? What if it was the fuel you needed to grow fresh, amazing food right there at home?
And that's exactly what OCG is all about. It's a way to create this tiny, self-sustaining ecosystem. The real key here is that it's a closed-loop system, and what that means is that everything, and I mean everything, gets recycled and reused. It's basically copying how nature works in the most efficient way possible.
Okay, so how does this whole transformation even begin? Let's start with step one. And believe me, it's powered by some of the most hardcore recyclers on the entire planet.
Now, a lot of us have probably heard of regular old composting, right? Well, OCG totally supercharges that whole process by using something called black soldier flies, or BSF. Forget waiting for months. BSF composting is unbelievably fast. Plus, they're not picky eaters. They'll eat almost anything, even meat and dairy. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just make compost. It makes compost and a super valuable protein source, the larvae themselves.
And when I say efficient, I mean it. The level of efficiency here is just wow. These little larvae are so good at their job that they could reduce the volume of your food waste by up to 80%. Just think about that. That's a massive amount of trash that's not going to a landfill.
And the speed? Get this. We're talking about them chewing through most of your kitchen scraps in just 24 to 36 hours. Yeah, this is not your grandma's slow-burn compost pile. This is high-speed bioconversion. It's like nature's own high-tech factory, turning waste into pure resources.
So this is really the crucial takeaway from this first step. You're not just getting rid of waste. No way. You're creating two incredibly useful new things. First, you get the larvae, which are basically a powerhouse of protein. And second, what they leave behind, it's called frass, is some of the best, most nutrient-rich organic fertilizer you can imagine.
All right, so we've got our protein and we've got our fertilizer. Awesome. Now what? Where does all that good stuff go? Let's get to the next stage and see how these two resources become the fuel for the living, breathing heart of the OCG system.
It's really cool. It splits off into two paths. Those high-protein larvae, they become the perfect, sustainable food for fish. And that amazing frass, well, that becomes a super potent fertilizer for your plants. You see? Absolutely nothing goes to waste.
And this is where the real magic happens. It's called aquaponics, and it's basically the living engine of the entire OCG setup. Here's how it works. The fish, who are happily munching on those BSF larvae, produce waste. Then, some good bacteria come along and turn that waste into nitrates, which is literally the perfect food for plants. The plants then soak up all those nutrients, and in doing so, they clean the water for the fish. It's this beautiful, perfect loop where everyone helps everyone else out.
You know, one of the most incredible things about this is how little water it uses. Because the water is just constantly cycling through, getting cleaned by the plants and then going back to the fish, aquaponics can use up to 90% less water than regular farming in soil. I mean, in a world where water is becoming more and more precious, a number like that, that's a total game changer. And what's really cool is how flexible this all is. You can take that same nutrient-packed water from the fish and use it to power a hydroponic system too, where you grow plants without any soil at all. This gives you so much more control. You can grow upwards to save space, and you can grow food all year long no matter what it's doing outside.
So this system is already pretty impressive, right? But OCG doesn't stop there. It adds a couple more key players to the team to make the whole cycle even stronger and more self-sufficient. Think of it as the final polish that makes this perfect circle absolutely gleam.
And who are these key players? Well, first, we've got composting worms, like your classic red wigglers. And second, a tiny little floating plant called duckweed. Each one has a very special job to do that just makes the whole system run that much better.
Okay, so these worms are absolute masters of composting. They'll take any leftover organic bits and pieces, even the fish waste, and they refine it into something called vermicompost, or worm castings. And let me tell you, this stuff is like black gold for plants. It is one of the richest, most amazing natural fertilizers on the planet, just packed with good microbes that make plants super healthy.
And then you've got the duckweed. Some people call it green gold, and for good reason. This tiny plant is just incredible. It just floats there on the water, and its job is to slurp up any extra nutrients the other plants might have missed. So it's like a final filter, making the water super clean. But wait, there's more. It's also packed with protein, and it grows so fast that it becomes another free, totally self-renewing food source for the fish. How cool is that? Okay, so let's just step back and look at the whole loop one more time. Step 1, it all starts with your food scraps. Step 2, the black soldier flies come in and just devour it. Step 3, what they create fuels the whole fish and plant system. And Step 4, you get to harvest amazing fresh food, and the whole cycle just starts right back up again with your new scraps. It's just a perfect self-sustaining circle of life.
So, now that we've gone through all the nuts and bolts of how it works, let's zoom out a bit. Let's talk about the big picture, why this whole system is so powerful, and what the real-world benefits actually are.
I mean, the benefits are just huge. From an environmental standpoint, you're keeping waste out of landfills and saving tons of water. For food security, you're giving yourself a reliable, year-round source of fresh, organic food. Economically, it's a no-brainer. You're literally making your own fertilizer and fish food for free. And on top of all that, it's incredibly productive. You can actually grow more food faster in a smaller space.
You know, this quote really nails it. OCG is so much more than just a clever gardening trick. It's really about a whole new way of thinking. It's about shifting your mindset to work with nature's cycles instead of fighting against them. It's about looking at waste and seeing a valuable resource. It's about becoming part of a cycle that builds and renews itself.
So, at the end of the day, oxygenated cultivated gardening is really a blueprint for turning scarcity into abundance. It shows us that a truly sustainable future isn't some far-off dream, it's right within our reach. So the only question left to ask is, with a system that can literally transform your garbage into a garden, what will you grow?